What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm going to bring you a test and combo video for the Thunder Dragon profile I showed you all the other day. Now the idea behind a video like this is to show you what the deck can do on a basic randomized level, so it kind of gives you an introductory to the deck to show you what it can do, how far you can push and what you can play around. So very simply, with all of that out of the way, smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. We're going to shuffle up. We're going to cut up, and we're going to do an opening hand of 5 going first, beginning with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is one of your ideal starters in the form of the Aloof Lupine, and the reason that I like it is as long as you have a Thunder Dragon in the hand, or technically a Thunder Monster, you're going to be able to get loads of plays going. Now the ideal scenario is you open up Thunder Dragon Dark or Thunder Dragon Raw, because they are the two targets you're going to want to go for. However, in this scenario, because we've opened up Matrix, we're still going to be able to make some form of a play, and Nemesis Flag and Saronir are going to be here to help us extend even further, depending on what our opponent has access to. So you're going to start off by normal summoning the Aloof Lupine. You're going to use this effect, banishing as cost a Thunder Dragon Matrix from the hand. This will then allow you to banish one from the deck, and the one you can go for is either a Dark to search you out a Hawk, or of course you can go for a Raw to get either additional monster on the board, which you'll ultimately end up getting off of the board to trigger its effect again. So you're going to go Chain It 1 Raw, Chain It 2 Matrix, as protecting the Raw is the most important one and you don't want that being ashed. In doing so, this will then allow you to use Matrix effect to add you a Matrix from the deck to the hand. And then of course you'll be able to trigger the Raw, and this will let you special one from the deck. Now the one we're going to want to go for is the Thunder Dragon Dark. Now what you need to remember is all the Thunder Dragons have pretty similar effects. So what I mean by that is they have effects that when they are discarded, they have effects that when they are banished, or if they're sent from the field to the graveyard. So in the scenario of Dark is if it is banished, or if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a Thunder Dragon card from the deck to the hand, which is really important. So now we've got this scenario here. Ideally what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to link both of these off. This is going to put 2 Darks in the graveyard, but this will allow you to get into IP Masquerena. Now you can play other generic Link 2s. If you do have the Nemesis Flag and you are main decking Corridor or anything else like that, you might want to look at a Reaper Donkus, because in doing so, this will then allow you to pretty much lock your opponent out of a particular type or attribute, depending on what you're facing and if you know exactly where the plays are going. Now you'll be able to trigger the Thunder Dragon Dark effect. This will allow you to add any Thunder Dragon card from the deck to the hand. So your options are Hawk, which will give you the ability to discard a Thunder to then revive a Thunder, and straight away you have access to get into a Colossus, but that's where Nemesis Flag's going to come into play. So in this scenario, what I'd probably advise you to do is look at something like a Thunder Dragon Fusion, as this can help you set up a Thunder Dragon Titan. Now there is a bit of a clash in the sense that with your Nemesis Flag, you're going to be a little bit careful, because when you are spinning back 2 Thunder Dragons, you need to make sure you still have enough Thunder Dragons in rotation in order to complete the Thunder Dragon Titan off of the back of the Thunder Dragon Fusion. So you need to be very careful on that one. Ideally with your Nemesis Flag, you want to be spinning back cards that are not Thunder Dragons, and that's where your Bestials are going to come into play, because your Bestials can of course trigger off the Thunder Dragons during your opponent's turn if you've already used their effects, but it can also put an Aloof Lupine banished and then use Flag to recycle your starter should you need to. So you're pretty much getting the benefit of everything you need in rotation. So what we'll be able to do here is you're able to go Bestial Saronir. This will then target the Aloof Lupine and banish that. The reason we do it this way is because Saronir will give us that ability to Foolish Berry, and ideally you're going to want to try and put a Lubellion to the graveyard, depending on what you're trying to work your way up into. Now the other thing you might want to be looking into is what other Link monsters you can actually make depending on a particular build. Previously, you might want to consider something like Appaloosa, but that is now banned. So you are going to be working your way through more generic Link 2s depending on what you have access to. You could go for Nightmare Unicorns, you could work your way into an Underworld Goddess if you need to. You could also just hard make an SP Little Knight and use it as an interruption during your opponent's turn rather than using IP to go into it, and then you would save IP to go into an Underworld Goddess during your opponent's turn. So you're pretty much setting yourself up with loads of different options depending on what you want to have access to. We'll start off by going Nemesis Flag. This will then put the Aloof Lupine back into the main deck, and then we'll be using Nemesis Flag's effect, and this will allow us to search us out a Nemesis Corridor, which will be our Thunder monster that we can turn into our Thunder Dragon Colossus. So we're going to shuffle this up again, and like I said, you want to make sure you've got access to 3 Thunder Dragons, because that's how you're going to get Titan into rotation. Ideally, the Thunder Dragon Matrix isn't going to be that effective for you right now. It's obviously going to be great during your opponent's turn, but if you can't get into a Colossus because you can't get into Corridor, then you're kind of cutting yourself back a little bit. So you do need to be a little bit careful on where you're trying to make these plays. So now it's really up to you on the Saronir. If you do link it off, of course, you'll put the Lubellion in the graveyard, but the issue is you link it off, you don't have a way to get it back to the board. So you just kind of have to kind of think in play of where you want to take it and how far you want to go with it as well. We haven't even, we've conducted our normal summon with the Aloof Lupine. The Thunder Dragon Fusion can get us into a Titan. Kind of want a Thunder in the graveyard, which will get off the back of Corridor to protect the Colossus. So I think the issue is, at this moment in time, we've got a decision to make that whether we go for Titan or whether we go for Colossus. If we were gonna go for the Colossus, you'd probably swap out the Thunder Dragon Fusion for a Hawk. So just with hindsight being 2020 as it is, let's swap that around for a Hawk rather than the Fusion. So we're not gonna go for Titan, we'll go for Hawk. And the reason you'll do that is you'll be able to go, okay, cool, Hawk's effect, discard. This will then allow us to revive one. You can probably even play a rank 6 if you really wanted to. So you go for Thunder Dragon Roar, put this back onto the board. The best thing is, if you wanted to keep this on the board, you can actually use IP during your opponent's turn to turn this, link this off, and then you can trigger its effect to bring one out from the deck, which would be kind of cool as well. We can then use Corridor, so we'll basically be able to get a double Colossus end board on this one, I think. Saronir puts Lubellion in the graveyard. It doesn't really do anything for us right now. Like, the Saronir is probably better suited to hold for us, but again, like you said, you wanted to flip back the flag. So it's a shame we haven't got access to our synchros. I would have liked to have done that, but unfortunately not. We'll go Corridor. We'll put back the Matrix, summon itself back to the board. There's no way of really banishing flag, which is a bit of a disappointment, but like I said, we've got enough here to go. So what you do is you can then tribute off, turn your first Thunder Dragon Roar into a Colossus. So must either be fusion summoned or special summoned during the turn a Thunder monster's effect was activated in the hand by tributing a Thunder effect non-fusion monster, in which case you do not use Poly. Cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them, and if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to banish one Thunder monster from the graveyard instead. So you're going to have already set up with a Roar, a Hawk, or a Dark should they want to try and disrupt it. You can now also use the Corridor and go into the second Colossus. And then you're still sitting on a Matrix and a Aloof Lupine, which is obviously starting the combo off again the next turn. During your opponent's turn, you can IP using these two. This should probably be in defense so we don't get smacked in the face. You can use these two to go into a SP Little Knight. So not only can they not add from deck to hand, and they've got two they need to deal with, so they need double imperm to stop this. You then be able to Saronir. Saronir will then set you up a Lubellion in the graveyard should you be able to get a Bestial back into rotation. SP Little Knight, banish and banish. So you've had banish one on the field when it's summoned, banish the second one now as well. Still can't add, so straight away they've lost 2 cards. And then if they try to destroy either of these, they're just going to give you more advantage by being able to banish any of these. So you can banish the Hawk, reset your hand. You can banish the Dark, search you out the Thunder Dragon Fusion, which gives you a Titan for the follow-up. Or banish the Roar and puts a Thunder Dragon on the board. So anyway, let's say that they can't play through this. SP comes back. You can move this to attack if you want to. You're going to draw a card. Thunder Dragon? Okay. We'll put that there. And now it really is just up to you because you just go, okay, cool. Aloof Lupine. I'm pretty sure we've got a Matrix back in the deck, which is fine. So you can go Aloof Lupine, banish Matrix. Banish. Don't really want to banish Roar. Let's banish Hawk. Not Hawk, sorry. Let's banish Dark. There we go. Banish Dark. Matrix effect will trigger, and so will Dark's effect. So Dark will get you Thunder Dragon Fusion. Matrix will get you another Matrix. You've basically just replenished your hand. And now what you really need to do is start to clear some space off. So once you're able to kind of clear space off, this will then allow you to kind of move your plays further forward. So depending on what build you go with and what other link monsters you can play, like just to clear space off, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one of our opponent's monsters. So that's 5. Gets into an Underworld Goddess. I mean, you're pushing for game now anyway. So you can now activate Thunder Dragon Fusion. You need to put back 3 Thunder Dragon monsters. So let's put back 1, 2, and let's put Hawk back. So there's 3. They go back into the deck. And this is where it gets really crazy good, is now you can trigger Titan as and when you see fit. So Titan's one must be fusion summoned or special by banishing one Thunder monster from the hand and one Thunder fusion monster you control, except itself. So obviously if you wanted to and you didn't want to end on double Colossus, you could have got into a Titan. But honestly, I felt we were probably better off with double Colossus than anything else. In which case you do not use Poly. When a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand, even during the damage step, you get to destroy one card in the field. And if this would be destroyed by card effect, you get to banish 2 cards from the graveyard instead. And the best thing about this is you go Titan. So you discard Thunder Dragon, chain Titan, Titan would pop, grab a Thunder Dragon, chain Titan, Titan would pop, and then you get the third Thunder Dragon. So you've linked off one of your opponent's monsters with Underworld, you've popped with Titan, your opponent just can't search with 2 Colossus on the board, and you are pretty much pushing in for game this way here. You still have your 2 cards in the hand, and if you do get access to any of the Bestials, you basically have loads of this online, and you still have the access for the Thunder Dragon Fusion, which during the next turn, after you've already used it, 'cause it can't be used the same turn, you can banish it to add a Thunder Dragon from the grave, from the deck to the hand, sorry. So you do have a couple of options there. You either go down the route of a Titan plus a Colossus, or you go down double Colossus. I mean, it was kind of nice to show you in the first combo why it's useful of having Colossus back to 2. Not that it's absolutely necessity, but it does mean that it doesn't lose instantly to an Imperm. Like if your opponent has those 6 cards and one of those cards is an Imperm, they just go Imperm Colossus, and that's it. Yeah, of course you would have Titan, but Titan's only ever really going to get 1 pop during your opponent's turn because you only have, like, unless you hard open up or you have access to a Dark and a Matrix, you only really got 1 quick effect fusion. Sorry, 1 quick effect Thunder. So we'll do another test down going first, and then we'll show one going second, where Titan will obviously be more effective than Colossus. So shuffle up, cut up, and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, pretty decent actually, pretty decent. So you'll start off with Shifter, because that's obviously always going to cause your opponent a heck of a lot of issues. And then you'll normal summon down the Mental Tuner. You can use Mental Tuner's effect here, and I'm just debating whether I want to banish 1 or 2. Now the idea is, when I banish both of these, they're both going to replace themselves anyway, so it's not really the end of the world. It just depends if I want this to be a 5, or if I want this to be a 5 or a 1. Or do I want it to be a 4? I suppose if I make it a 4, I can actually get into Chaos Angel, which would be kind of cool. So, but then if I banish the Matrix, I can also get access to Titan. Let's go with 1 for now, and then I'll try and figure it out from there. So Dark will trigger to let you add a Thunder Dragon from the deck to the hand. Now, you can very easily go for Thunder Dragon Roar. So you get to discard this card and add to how many Thunder Dragon cards it is banished in the graveyard. The issue is, if you add this back, you would only get a quick effect, so you're not really getting anything from there. So let's add... You probably want to go for Hawk, because at least with Hawk, you're going to be able to set yourself up. So let's go Hawk. I've already used our normal summon. Maybe I should have banished Matrix. We will banish Matrix now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm not using my normal summon. So this will get me access to a second Matrix. What was the second Matrix? There we go. So we kind of want a like the plan is Colossus and Titan. That's what I'm working towards, basically. So we've got both of these in the hands. Well, then discard Hawk, and obviously because of Shifter it ends up getting banished, which is fine. You still get the discard effect because that's what you've chosen to use. So we'll go for the Thunder Dragon Dark. You then be able to tribute off the Thunder Dragon Dark, which again ultimately ends up getting banished, which will go into the Colossus. And now of course you can activate the Thunder Dragon Fusion, putting these 3 back into the deck. Unfortunately, Fusion will get banished, but what this will do is this will give us a Titan. Okay, so currently I put Titan in defense. Probably should put Colossus in defense as well. Yeah, because you don't have the Thunders in the graveyard to protect. You need to be careful of a Lightning Storm. Could this have been done a little bit differently? Obviously, if I reduce this to 1, I've only got a Synchro of a 9. Bump to the 5, it can't really go anywhere. I think the issue is you kind of want E-Telly. You don't ever really want to be normal summon unless you kind of want the E-Telly for the factor. But the idea is, with this hand, I've been able to get a Titan, a Colossus. They have to play on the Shifter as well. So straight away, during my opponent's turn, they can't add cards from the deck to hand except by drawing them. I do have the ability of going Thunder Dragon Matrix, give this 500. So you'd go activate Matrix, chain Titan, Titan non-target destroys a card. This will then be up by 500. Technically, I don't even need to do it this one. I can actually do it on Colossus if I wanted to. But the idea is that by doing something like that, you've popped a card, they have to play on the shifter, they can't add. You draw for your turn. Okay. I still have the ability to switch this to attack, switch this to attack. If I wanted to, I can banish to change its levels. And the reason you do that is you can banish a D shifter, increase this level by 1, makes it a 4. Unfortunately, you kind of want to banish 2. I would love to banish the Matrix, but then if I could banish the Matrix and get a second Matrix for my normal summon, great. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So the best thing you can do is normal summon the Matrix. Depends if you want to pop a card or not. If you want to pop a card, you would just go, okay, cool, Matrix effect, give this 500 or give this 500, non-target pop a card. And then, unless you need to put the 200 damage on board, you probably put this in defense. So there's probably no need to banish the shifter. But the other is attack for 32, attack for 31. Unfortunately, not going to be game, so maybe you hold back the Matrix to pop during your opponent's turn. Like, this wasn't the ideal draw, but the idea is, again, yes, your opponent is no longer under shifty, but you'd still have the ability to ditch this, give this attack, and you're doing a bit of damage that way. So, not perfect, but like if the deck was perfect, it would be the #1 meta killer, which it isn't. It's just fun to have Thunder Dragons back into rotation. So, okay, we'll now do a test down going second, just so again you can see the aggressive nature of it. That's where Titan kind of comes into play with its annoying when effect, but I suppose when effect is still pretty cool because it can clear off issues a little bit earlier than normal. So, shuffle up, cut up, and go second with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's definitely getting dropped. 6. Whoo-wee! This hand's pretty nuts. So with Shifter, Batteryman Solar basically becomes a banish. So it basically becomes a Gold Sark, which is insane. We've got the Aloof Lupine and Dragon Roar combo. The only issue is that you open up both your normal summons, but that's the risk and reward that you make. So if I wanted to, I could very early doors activate Sarcophagus to spin this in, spin most of my hand back in, which I might do a little bit later on actually. I might not need to do this now. So we're going to normal summon Aloof Lupine. Aloof Lupine banishes Roar, banishes Dark from the deck. This will give me basically what I need. Roar will let me summon. So, what do I want? I mean, I don't really want to summon Hawk. I kind of want to banish Hawk, but then I also want to add Hawk to discard Hawk. It's very tricky. There'll be risk and rewards on everything on this one. But if I went with Batteryman Solar, it would ditch the Dark. Dark would banish to add. Maybe I don't go Aloof Lupine. Maybe Batteryman with Shifter is just a better combo. Because what you'd do is you'd go Batteryman Solar, use the effect, send the Dark. Dark would ultimately end up getting banished. Dark's effect would trigger to let you add. Do I want the Thunder Dragon Fusion or do I want the Hawk? We'll add the Hawk. Because then Hawk can discard, which will only end up getting banished, to add this back to the to special summon this back. In doing so, this will trigger Solar's effect, which will spawn us a token, which is obviously a Thunder as well. And we've used a Thunder Dragon monster's effect in the hand. I don't think there's any more benefit of Gold Sart. This is a shame because the hand is like just real crazy. I think it's just if this card is banished, sensitive, shuffle any of that. I mean, what have we got here? So we've got the token. I've got the ability to get 2 Colossus on the board. We've already used Dark. We could use Roar, but Roar's only going to add back. It doesn't really give us the effect we need. So, okay, so the Batteryman Soda route gives us 2 Colossus. It can give me a Titan though, can't it? Banishing a Thunder monster from the hand or Fusion monster. Thunder monster from the hand and a Thunder Fusion monster you control except itself. Okay, maybe this is fine. So we'll turn that token into a Colossus. Then we'll turn Colossus by banishing it and the Roar to get us into a Titan. This will trigger Roar's effect to summon a Thunder Dragon from the deck. Now, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, this one's special summons in defense. Yeah, in defense. So special summons out the Thunder Dragon, as it's the only one we haven't used yet. Kind of want Thunder Dragon back into the hand though. That's the big shame. Or do we go bigger brain plays and banish the Thunder Dragon? Oh, I think we've got bigger brain plays. Let's banish Matrix. Okay. Matrix effect will trigger. Because we're going second, I don't really need to worry about Matrix. We'll banish the Matrix to make us the Titan, right? And then we'll activate the Gold Sark. Gold Sark will banish Thunder Dragon. And then we'll use Roar's effect, discarding it, which will banish to add back the Thunder Dragon. And the reason you do that is you go discard Thunder Dragon, Chain Titan, pop a card, resolve the Thunder Dragon effect, get you a second copy, discard Thunder Dragon, Chain Titan, pop another card, grab the third Thunder Dragon. There we go. And then upgrade this, which will ultimately get banished, into Colossus. And then you've popped 3. You've got a whole host of Thunder Dragons banished. You're going to go battle phase 32, 26, and 15, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 3, annoyingly. They're under shifter, and then during your opponent's turn, you've got the ability to ditch the Matrix, which will then Chain Titan to pop a card. They can't add. I really wish we'd have 3 Colossus, and then this would become a Colossus, but happy days dreaming. Yeah, and then it's really up to you where you'd want to change it. Unfortunately, we couldn't OTK there. That's a big shame. Maybe I missed something. But I did kind of... It's been a while since I've played with 2 Colossus. I keep forgetting how easy Titan is to get once you've already got that 1 Colossus. We've got time. Let's do one more test and go in second. Let's see how we can do on this one. I mean, Shifter is a massive win con on a deck like this. It's just absolutely insane. Especially if everyone's going to be hyping up, go like 60 card decks. Like, you just drop Shifter and I'll go, yeah, okay, cool. GG, bro. Okay, go second again with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll tell you what, just so we're not going like Shifter pass, we'll just draw a random one. Lubellion, okay, fine. So we've definitely got a Bestial hand. I would like to say that I would have used a Druid Swarm during my opponent's turn, depending on what they're playing. Like, they might be playing Light and Darks, but keep that in mind. We will start off by ditching Lubellion. Lubellion will get me Magnamut. We will Lubellion, bring back Druid Swarm. Druid Swarm effect, send 1 from our opponent's board. Lubellion's effect, get us regained. So we've now got regained in rotation. Kind of need to get these banished. They're not the ideal ones, and like this is just going to be bestial, not even turbo, just like bestial roots. Should go Magnamut, banish the Druid Swarm, put Druid Swarm back on the bottom of the deck, and we'll draw 1. Give me a starter. Hey, that's a pretty good starter. Activate Gold Sark, banish Roar's effect, special Hawk. Yeah, Hawk. Let's try and tidy up the hand a little bit, shall we? I mean, I've still got a Bestial if I want to. Hawk. Still need to make a rank 6. Maybe I need to put a rank 6 in this deck. Let's put some pressure on our opponents. Let's just, obviously, Magnamut's effect. We'll do that in the end phase. Go SP Little Knight. Obviously, it wasn't used using an extra deck monster, so you're not going to banish, which is absolutely fine because you still want your battle phase. Hawk's effect will trigger because it left the field, so we can spin back as many of these as we want to. Now, Thunder Dragon Fusion is currently live. Matrix helps that be live, and so does Dark. So, all I need is 1 more. So, let's put back Druid Swarm. Don't think it really helps me getting a star. Like, the best thing I can get here is Thunder Dragon. That'd be so good. Like, access to Thunder Dragon. Happy days. So we'll shuffle up. We draw 1 card. I mean, there's a starter. So, normal summon Lupine. Lupine's effect. Banish Dark. I mean, Dark gets me access to Thunder Dragon, I suppose is fine. And then we'll banish 1 from the deck. Let's banish... let's banish a Thunder Dragon. Dark's effect will get me Thunder Dragon. And the reason you banish the first Thunder Dragon is you could banish the Matrix if you want to, but by not banishing the Matrix, you're actually going to get 3 pops off of Titan rather than just 2. Because now what you do is you go, cool, activate Thunder Dragon Fusion, put back 1, 2, let's leave Hawk in the graveyard, 3. Put back all 3 of those. Go into Titan. I just need a Thunder monster now. So we'll go Thunder Dragon effect, chain Titan, pop a card. Thunder Dragon effect, chain Titan, pop a card. Third and final Thunder Dragon. And then we'll go Matrix, ditch, give 500, chain Titan to pop a card. So you've popped 3 cards already. And then you just get to go battle phase. So 25, 32, 16, 17. Is that game? Is my maths good enough? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, it's well over game. So that's your game, and you've popped 3. Now, obviously, in a scenario where you don't want to pop 3, then what you would do off of the back of this, rather than banishing a Thunder Dragon, you'd banish a Matrix. Matrix will give you another copy. And the idea is that you're going to try and work to get a Thunder on the board so you can turn it into Colossus. And you'd probably go down the easier route of turning Colossus and banishing a Thunder from the hand to go into Titan. But the idea was we're going a bit more aggressive. Like, I'm not there to make Titan. Like, the only reason you'd make Colossus in that scenario is you'd make Colossus to make it a stronger, like, upgrade one of your Thunder monsters, make it into a stronger monster. Whereas in this scenario, the idea was Titan to clear off 3 cards non-target. So you really need to read the scenario and then adapt it as you see fit. But Thunder Dragons are really fun. They're definitely not top tier meta. It hasn't changed just by getting a second Colossus back. What has changed though is you can now play this deck as like a 60 card deck if you wanted to, as I think this is one of the very few decks that will benefit from that Garsh looks greener if you are going to be playing the left arm offering option, because the left arm offering, you banish your entire hand. And in doing so, if your opponent stops that in any way whatsoever, you don't get any advantage back. Whereas if you banish your entire hand and there's Thunder Dragons in there that can trigger, you'd actually be able to gain back some of that resource that you've ended up banishing. Anyway, I hope this is giving you a bit of an insight into the deck, what it can do, how you're getting into Titan, how you're getting into Colossus, and then where the Bestials come into play. Like we saw in that previous hand, I changed up the hand by not having Shifter and just drew a random card, which obviously ended up helping us. But the idea is you'd kind of see how, rather than going Shifter and then having to banish and make a Magnamute and everything else in between, we kind of went with a play that wasn't just Shifter.deck. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Any questions at all, by all means, please put it in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer it for you. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.